By 2030, almost 80% of people had lost their jobs.
They had no money, no purpose, but they had a lot of time on their hands.
The less people actually did physical work, the more they wanted to appear as if they did.
What if we could use the energy of humans to power the machines that took away their jobs?
Energem solved our need for energy and your need for purpose.
Welcome everybody to the Daily Recap Show, where we talk about stocks and the financial markets. My name is Chase. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit that notification bell as well as the like button, and leave a comment for the algorithm. Let's get into it. This is the daily heat map of the S&P 500, and US stocks turned sharply lower on Thursday as Nvidia's stellar earnings failed to wow investors and left Wall Street juggling with growing worries over AI's potential for a payoff and disruption. Now, software was very bullish in light of everything we saw today. That was on the back of Snow and CRM's earnings. Some of the hardware names were also very green. Infrastructure was kind of flat, and that was kind of it for technology. Everything else was actually pretty red. Look at Amazon and Tesla taking it on the chin. Apple down 1.18%. Google down 2.46%. Meta was flat, fun fact. But semiconductors, as you can see right here, deep in the red after Nvidia's earnings report. Nvidia down 5% year on the day. The market just wanted a little bit more, but my goodness, was it a good earnings report? Regardless, you can see some of the software equivalent names, stuff like the computer hardware names. I mean, in semiconductors, the broad semiconductor market, as well as the equipment manufacturers, took it on the chin here, despite, again, fantastic earnings. In the red, we also saw healthcare stocks take it on the chin, and that was it. The broad market did gain from financials to industrials, real estate. We did see the broad market gain, but, you know, genuine losses here on the back of the mega caps, really just taking a bit of a hit after Nvidia's earnings. Now, you can see right here, the RTY outperforming the S&P 500, still down ever so slightly here on the day. This XLI should be in green. It's not for some reason. And then GLD gained 0.57%. The big winners here today were software, energy, financials. But, you know, the majority of sectors did actually fall, with tech, you know, again, on the back of semiconductors, down 1.93%, the S&P 500 falling 0.81%. Today really was a growth-centered day that took it on the chin, especially large cap growth, but mid cap growth, small cap growth, because Nvidia's earnings reverberates in the entire cap space, because the equipment manufacturers are mid cap stocks and some of these smaller energy names are small cap stocks. The only green we saw today were value names, right? Especially in the smaller and mid-cap parts of the market. A large-cap value did outperform their counterparts, but relatively speaking, just a brutal day through and through, especially when you see large-cap growth take it on the chin like this. Now, this was coming on the back of what was pretty good economic data. Initial jobless claims beat the consensus expectations of 212, but look roughly in line. And this is a labor market more defined by its inactivity than vigor. And pretty much it's a low hire, low fire labor market. That's what the data is telling us here today. Now, there wasn't really much news today apart from Nvidia's earnings. There was a little bit of news here. The White House envoys Kushner and Witkoff said that they were disappointed by what they heard from Iranians in this morning's negotiations. They are still trying to suss out a nuclear deal there. They still have the evening session ongoing, but talks with Iran, it doesn't look like it's going super well. But the big reason why the market moved here today, guys, was Nvidia down 5.3% today after completely destroying revenue, 68.1 billion versus 66 against the estimate. Data center revenue came in at 62 billion, 75% gross margins, but the guide was absolutely stellar. The street wanted 73 billion in the guide. The market got 78 billion. That's what the management team said Nvidia is going to do next quarter. But why is the stock falling? Just a lack of detail on drivers for the outlook, which doesn't include potential revenue out of China. That left some on Wall Street asking questions about competitive threats and the staying power of the AI buildup. Also, on the data center front, the CFO said that they are coming into supply equilibrium. So they're normal supply constrained with GPUs. And yeah, that's not a good thing for the market. Not a good thing for Nvidia. You ultimately, as a business, want to be supply constrained. You want demand completely outstripping supply, and they're sort of coming into equilibrium. And that could impact, again, the outlook for the future. What does it look like? What if AI demand slows? They're going to have a ton of GPUs just sitting on their balance sheet. All of that, those are questions the street is asking, and they're asking by selling first and then trying to figure out the answers a little bit later. Salesforce, however, was up 2.57%, lifting the software trade. Now, it projected a very good report. Strong revenue, $41.53 billion, up 10% on the year. Adjusted earnings rose to $12.52 from $10.20 the previous year. That's for the quarter alone. Subscription revenue increased 13%, accounting for more than 95% of total sales. However, despite the earnings beat, Salesforce issued 2027 fiscal revenue guidance of $45.8 billion, right to 46.2. So 46 billion at the midpoint, which was slightly below the street's forecast of 46.1 billion, below the midpoint. Now, the company does expect adjusted earnings per share between $13.15, which was roughly in line. But I guess when it comes to a valuation standpoint, the market's saying, hey, we like the valuation here. We're going to step in. We like what the team is doing. And I think the street may be sussing out that they may have actually sandbagged guidance a little bit. Snowflake also reported their earnings. Now, the stock was actually up big, coming down roughly flat. You would call it flat. Revenue for the quarter beat expectations, $1.28 billion versus $1.26 billion, marking a 30% increase from the previous year. Earnings per share of 32 cents was higher than the 27 cents expected. I think the key factor in the positive market reaction, especially early in the morning, was the company's free cash flow margin, which was 59.6%, a significant improvement from the same quarter last year. However, the report was not entirely positive. The company's guidance for the upcoming first quarter pointed to a slowdown in product revenue growth, and that's why we're seeing shares drift a little bit lower. And then for everything we saw today here, guys, there was 2,700 advances, 3,300 decliners. We saw inflows in both the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. The market momentum continues to remain pretty solid. Longer-term averages look good. Shorter-term averages look good as well. We're just waiting for the 20-day to flip here. We'll see if it happens today. But all in all, the market still looks really, really good despite the price action we're seeing in today's overall market. Now, a key driver here this week, guys, has always been Nvidia's earnings. You could see Nvidia stock, again, down 5% here for the day, in excess of 5%. The NASDAQ is down 1.4%. The S&P 500 doing better, but still down, again, significantly. And you can see the broader market outperforming the RSP, mid caps, small caps, again, outperforming, the broad large cap space right there. That's to be expected on a day like this, despite what was a really, really good earnings report, in my honest opinion. Now, internationally, stocks are down in a very big way. Look at China, down 2.8%. Crypto taking it on the chin as well, despite software doing really, really good things, despite what software is doing. I mean, if we go ahead, look at the IGV, the IGV was up 1.24%, one of the best performing sectors here in the S&P 500, and Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are, which track the software space, not following suit, but they were up, let's say, call it between 8 and 12% yesterday. So a little bit of a give back, but solid momentum through and through both in software and the crypto space right here. Volatility did tick up, yields did tick down. The dollar gained, treasuries gained, gold gained, silver down in a big way, 2%, a massive move there for silver. And then crude and nat gas, again, flat for crude. Nat gas was down 2.21%. Now let's talk about the S&P 500, guys. Now, we had a great start to the week, as you can see right here. We had a really good start, eclipsing above those highs. And now with Nvidia, it does look like we are, drifting back here to these lows. You can see this wick right here, though. Buyers are suddenly coming in and buying this dip, because let's be honest, if we look at Nvidia, right, Nvidia right now is trading at $185 per share. Goldman put out a note that Nvidia is trading at 15 times forward their 2025 earnings estimates. Can you believe that? 15 times forward, right? So this is probably a great place to come in. I think buy Nvidia right here if you're looking for any one of the large caps right now. Nvidia is probably the cheapest. They're still going to be growing robustly for the next 2 or so years. And I mean, always really seeing with Nvidia right now is just a massive correction in time. Okay, the stock trading sideways, earnings growing massively, revenue growing massively. The company's still in pole market position, and this means the company is getting cheaper by the day. And you can tell, I mean, right here at this level right here on 2027 earnings, Nvidia was trading probably at about 30 times. It's now trading at 15 times, and it's roughly at the same price. It really goes to show the earnings power in Nvidia right now. So if you're looking for a large cap stock, I really like Nvidia. I think you step in here and you buy some. I also really do like Meta. I think you step in here and you buy some. And I also do like Google. You step in here and I think you buy some as it pertains to the large cap stocks. These are the only ones I would buy of the large caps right now. In terms of the small caps, what would I look to? I'd probably look at the RSP. The RSP looks really, really good. I think it's going to go higher, still trading at a really, really good discount to the market. And I also look at mid caps. That's where I would look at when it comes to these smaller, broader segments of the market. But I think we're probably going to have to go through a couple of trading days, maybe even a week, where we just flush out some of the weaker hands that, try to play Nvidia's earnings. Tomorrow is options expiration, so maybe we do get a little bit of a drift in some of the equity indices, but all in all, let Nvidia's earnings play out. I think the market's going to probably step in sooner rather than later. Again, trading at such an attractive valuation right now. I don't see how. I think value investors probably want to step into Nvidia right now. Size is a constraint of the stock moving higher, but I think inconsequential really when you really just look at the valuation and the earnings power of the name. Now looking at crypto really, really quickly, guys, trying to find a bottom. We're still in the accumulation zone. This is the accumulation zone here for Bitcoin. Let's go on the weekly chart. This is the accumulation zone that we're in right here. You can see massive wicks right here, massive wicks on the weekly chart. Very, very positive momentum. I think we're definitely looking to move higher right here. Same thing with Ethereum, right? You can see here, wicks, we're in the accumulation zone. The only thing that we need to do now is just wait. I think a re-rating is about to happen sooner rather than later, and very, very quickly. It's going to come in the month of March. Looking at some of our other proxies, the dollar was very, very strong, but still basing at these lows right here. What do I think is going to happen with the dollar? I think the dollar is just going to trade sideways in this range for the next year or so. Looking at the dollar as a whole, that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think the dollar is going to do much of anything this year. Looking at treasuries, TLT, I think we are going to see treasuries move higher, in my honest opinion. I think we're going to test the $100 mark here for the TLT sometime this year. That's going to coincide with the 10-year yield, 2-year yields, longer term treasuries actually falling. I think we're probably going to see below 4, even 4.8, below 3.8, maybe even a 3.7% 10-year yield. But that's going to be really supportive for the equity backdrop. And that's also going to be really supportive for gold. We do know that when yields fall, commodities do really, really well. I think gold probably going to pull back right here, form a higher low, and then continue up. So price action is going to look something like this for gold, something like that, I think is what we're going to see. But definitely a drift higher for silver as well. We're going to see something like that. I think we're probably going to retest this zone right here and then make our next move to the upside as it pertains to silver. But all in all, I'm still liking equities. This is an opportunity. I think Nvidia is cheap. The AI trade continues. Mega caps are spending a lot of money. Definitely have some exposure to the broad market, stuff like the RSP or mid caps, but I still think you want to own equities. Things still look really, really good. Nvidia is cheap. The mega caps are extremely cheap. They're still growing. Yes, margins are a concern, but not for Nvidia. Onward and upward, long and strong, guys. This is the AA sentiment survey. And guys, the latest survey indicates a shift towards caution. We saw bullish sentiment tick down ever so slightly, bearish sentiment tick up, as you can see right here, rising to the highest level over the last 4 weeks. Many traders, however, guys, and myself included, actually view this as a contrarian indicator, suggesting that high levels of individual investor pessimism may actually precede a market rally because the selling pressure has already peaked. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. Once we get to the 40 mark, we do know we are approaching those levels where we do need to see a shift, and that could coincide with a March pump. And we do know that is the case because when we look at aggregate S&P 500 returns since 1950, the first week of March right here, the first 2 weeks is the second best 2-week period in the year bar none. That's the 2-week period we're about to enter next week. However, it looks a little bit different in a midterm election year. You can see right here what normally happens is we do actually trade lower into the first 11 days and then we actually move higher here into March. Either way, expect volatility but momentum in the month of March the way I see it. And I think this momentum is going to come on the back of earnings season. The current earnings season we are seeing is a buy the rumor, sell the news trend where even strong results have failed to excite investors. This quarter has tied for the worst market performance during the peak reporting window since August 2023. Beat and raise reports are the bare minimum. Company must deliver perfection. And when you normally see this type of sentiment, especially on earnings season, look at what happened in 2023 to 2024, right? You can see right here, when we hit the sentiment, 2023, 2024 were good stock market years. Same in 2022, you could see that we peaked here in the second quarter of 2022. That was kind of the bottom. Remember, Q2 is actually reported in the Q3 calendar year. You're looking at August, September, go look at when we bottomed in 2022 and we went into 2023. That was a good year for stocks. 24 was a good year for stocks. 25 was a good year for stocks. And now this right here, we could be setting up a very, very good year into 2026, 2027, guys. So get ready to buy the dip. And the macro also looking good. Atlanta Fed's GDP now sitting just above 3% here for Q1 2026. Still above the blue chip consensus average. However, very strong nonetheless. Something else we need to look at. Job losses in AI-affected industries have been visible, but moderate, guys. AI-driven displacement could raise the unemployment rate slightly in 2026 with upside risk from faster adoption and larger displacement in aggregate. So all in all, what we do have to understand is that even though we have seen unemployment fall, it hasn't been super crazy, and this still looks like a massive adjustment from the 2021 COVID bloat. Looking at data, tomorrow, Friday, we get inflation data. PPI is coming out, so we're going to get the producer price index, right? We're going to get construction spending month over month for November and December, and we're getting the Baker Hughes rig oil count. There's nothing on earnings season, but if you've made it up until here, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, as well as the like button, and leave a comment for the algorithm. Cheers.